Let me ask you something. What do you think controls your life? Most people say money. If I just had more money, everything would be different. If I just had more money, I'd stop worrying. If I just had more money, I'd finally feel free. And I believe that too. For a long time, I really believed that. But then I met someone. And what he showed me, without even trying to, completely broke that idea apart. His name was Rajan. Rajan was 28 years old. Worked at a small textile factory on the outskirts of the city. Not a manager. Not a supervisor. Just a floor worker. Took home about 14,000 Indian rupees a month. By every standard we use to measure people in this world, he wasn't doing great. Rented a small room with 2 other guys. Ate the same 3 meals in rotation. Wore the same 4 shirts to work every week. But here's the thing about Rajan. He wasn't miserable. He was deliberate. Every month, on the day he got paid, he'd sit down, not on a laptop, not on some fancy app, just with a small notebook and a pen. And he'd write down 3 things. What came in? What must go out? What I will keep? That's it. 3 lines. Every single month. Without fail. He didn't call it budgeting. He didn't call it financial planning. He just called it knowing. I want to know where I stand, he'd say. That's all. And slowly, quietly, almost invisibly, Rajan was building something. Not wealth. Not yet. But something more important. He was building control. Now let me take you somewhere else entirely. Different city. Different world. Meet Vikram. Vikram is 41. He runs a mid-sized marketing agency. Has 16 employees. Drives a good car. Lives in an apartment that most people would stop and stare at. His income? Somewhere between 4 Indian rupees and 6 Indian rupees like a month. Depending on the quarter. By every standard we use, Vikram made it. But here's what Vikram's nights looked like. He'd lie in bed at 1 a.m., staring at the ceiling, running numbers in his head. Not because things were bad, but because he genuinely didn't know, at any given moment, exactly how much was in his accounts. What was committed? What was free? What was actually his? Money came in big. Money went out big. And somehow, at the end of every month, it felt like it just disappeared. A new software subscription here. A team lunch there. An impulsive gadget upgrade. This is an investment purchase that he never quite justified properly. And the worst part? He kept telling himself, once this next big client comes in, I'll sort it out. Once revenue stabilizes, I'll actually sit down and look at the numbers. That day never came. Because here's the brutal truth about money that nobody tells you. More money doesn't fix the problem. It just makes the problem bigger. Rajan and Vikram. 14,000 Indian rupees a month. An Indian rupee 5,000,000 a month. 2 completely different worlds. Same exact habit destroying one. Same exact habit saving the other. And that habit, that one single thing, is not about money at all. It's about awareness. Knowing. At all times. Where you stand. Not obsessing. Not paranoid tracking of every rupee. Just knowing. The habit is this. Every single week, no matter what, you sit with your money. You look at it. You face it. You don't hide from it. You don't let the number scare you into looking away. You just see it clearly. That's it. That's the whole habit. And I know what you're thinking. That sounds too simple. That can't be it. But think about it. Think about the last time you had a financial decision to make. Something even small. A purchase. A bill. A transfer. Did you make that decision from a place of clarity? Or did you make it from a place of feeling? Because most of us, rich, poor, middle, we make financial decisions based on feelings. I feel like I can afford this. I feel like it's fine. I feel like I'll figure it out later. Feeling is not knowing. And that gap between feeling and knowing, that gap is where money disappears. That gap is where debt lives. That gap is where anxiety lives. That gap is where the quiet, constant fear lives. The fear that no matter how much you earn, it will never be enough. I want you to think about someone you know. Maybe it's a relative. Maybe it's a friend. Maybe, and I say this gently, maybe it's you. Someone who earns decent money. Not bad money. Decent money. But month after month, something feels off. There's never quite enough left. There's always something that came up. Always something unexpected. And they work harder. They earn a little more. And somehow, still the same feeling. That's not a money problem. That's an awareness problem. Because money without awareness is just noise. It comes in loud. It goes out quiet. And you're left wondering what happened. Rajan figured this out by necessity. When you have 14,000 Indian rupees, You cannot afford to not know where it's going. Every 100 rupees has a name. Every decision is felt immediately. That constraint, that limitation that felt like a curse, was actually training him. It was training him to see. Vikram never had that training. Every time money got tight, more money came. The problem got papered over. And the habit of not knowing, of staying comfortable in the blur, just grew bigger with his income. Until one day, Vikram's biggest client pulled out. Overnight, 2 Indian rupees like a month just stopped. And for the first time in years, Vikram had to actually look. Really look. And what he saw terrified him. Not because things were unsalvageable, but because he realized he had been living in a financial fog for almost a decade, earning more and more, knowing less and less. He sat there that night, in that beautiful apartment, and he felt exactly how Rajan looked from the outside. Lost. That night, Vikram did something he hadn't done in years. He opened a notebook. Not an app, not a spreadsheet, just a plain, simple notebook. And he wrote 3 things. What came in? What must go out? What I will keep? He didn't copy Rajan. He'd never even met Rajan. He just finally arrived at the same truth. That awareness is not a luxury for people who have figured life out. Awareness is the beginning of figuring life out. It doesn't matter if you make 14,000 Indian rupees or Indian rupee 14,000,000. The habit is the same. The discipline is the same. The honesty required, to sit with your numbers and not flinch, that is the same. We spend so much of our lives chasing the number, thinking, if the number just gets big enough, the feeling will change. The anxiety will stop. The uncertainty will stop. The constant low hum of financial fear will finally stop. But it doesn't work that way, because the feeling doesn't come from the number. The feeling comes from your relationship with the number. Do you know it? Do you face it? Do you make decisions from clarity or from hope? Rajan still uses that notebook. Vikram now does too. And somewhere between 14,000 Indian rupees and Indian rupee 14,000,000, every single person who has ever felt like money was slipping through their fingers, they all had the same gap. Not in their income, in their awareness. So I'll leave you with just one question tonight. Not about how much you earn, not about how much you've saved, not about your investments or your debts or your future plans. Just this, right now, in this moment, do you actually know where you stand? Because the answer to that question, that's where everything begins.